Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10, season 3 of the Cob Pod. It's March 4th, and it seems like regime change is the theme of the week, whether you're in Tehran or Pennyhill Park. It's the Cob Pod.
Oh, it's the Cob Pod with Mick, Pete, Alex and Lunny. From the minis to the vets, for all your rugby bets. Cobham, home of Surrey's finest. The bar even has a wine list. The Cob Pod, oi, oi, oi. The Cob Pod, holy moly. You're home for everything rugby. The Cob Pod.
Now, that might be a surprise for many of you around the table. What do you think?
I really enjoyed it when we recorded that.
It was
Lunny on drums, Pete on bass, and Mick on vocals. It was great.
fantastic. Thank you for to the band who got in contact with us for that and pronounced as Cobham, which is all right. How are we all, chaps? Are we doing well?
Yeah, good. Very good, thank you.
Very well.
Brilliant. We've got some guests that we're going to get straight into today, I think, if that's okay, because time is short and they've just come through the door. Here we go. Oh, that's one wonderful Dr. David Silver. How are you, pal?
I love it when you look at me like that.
Oh, hello.
I'm very well, thank you.
How is the season going from your side?
Well, you know, when you're a medic in any walk of life, you live on the edge of catastrophe. We've had some very bad seasons in the past, but fortunately, touch wood, and I hate saying this, we're all right at the moment. You know, you've always got people out with knocks, and we're patching up bodies, but no, we're all right.
Great. Team happy? Injury list low?
Reasonably, yeah.
Great.
And when you're winning, you're making less tackles, you generally get less injuries. So to that extent, you know, we're in better shape. And we have, I'm sure Bill would agree with this, we've got a fairly young squad now, which helps as well. Because when I first came in, nursing people like him in their late 30s and 40s, you've got a job on your hands. You know? I remember there's a quote that got put on the website. I wanted some reviews, and Spencer Franks put, "Couldn't fix my gout," which I must
Proper
admit,
rugby injury. That was
many things in Spencer's life I couldn't fix.
Brilliant.
So no, I'm as content as a physio gets.
Wonderful. When I was last in the physio room, I spotted a wee box over in the corner. We have talked about this briefly in the pod, but I'd like to just get your take on how it's going. So talk us through the Super Magic box, because it's quite a bit of kit and we're quite lucky to have the capability, and it's obviously paying dividends.
Indeed, yeah. So the Magic Box is the storage for the IMG gum shields, which is both a blessing and a curse, because I've spent 4 months lugging the thing around Surrey and Sussex. But no, it's been a really useful benefit. I mean, the players have bought in, which has been great, and it's given us an extra layer of awareness to our concussion and head injury stuff. We've used it recently. So to that extent, it's been fantastic. And at the end of the season, we'll also get a really great appreciation of the head injury risks that are at this level, which we haven't necessarily had before. So that information will go back up to the RFU along with our CRISP data.
Okay, I'm gonna wind you back a bit, because there's going to be one or two of our tens of listeners that will be going, what did he just say? So you've got IMG gum shields?
Yeah, so IMG is an instrumented mouthguard, which are the same ones that are used at professional grades now. And essentially, you've got a 6-axis accelerometer within the gum shield. So
Try saying that 5 times quickly.
Yeah, I've made a career out of it. So essentially, it's measuring the forces that are going through the gum shield and therefore the head. And it measures both axial and rotational rads and linear forces.
Yep.
And then essentially, what I'm getting via Bluetooth is when I'm in close proximity, and you'll see me moving around the pitch quite a lot, is I'm picking up the data from all of those gum shields and it's fed back to me. And then we get essentially a load calculation between those two. So if someone's had a head injury, for example, And I will then, as the sort of data is fed back through Bluetooth, get an understanding of the forces that have gone into that impact. So we get two sets of data, essentially. One's that associated with a head impact that may need a review or may produce symptoms. But also we're getting a good understanding of the impacts that go on as a run-of-the-mill throughout the nature of a match at level 7, which we've not had before.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. There's been a lot in the news this week. You can't follow the rugby media without seeing it. So let's start kind of bit basic, but how have you seen things change over the last couple of years, 10, 15 years, whatever, around concussion and what's going on at the moment?
Yeah, we've had lots of changes. I mean, culturally, rugby has changed dramatically in the time since I playing and then started working within it. Awareness is vastly greater than it has been in the past. Young players' attitudes are starting to change, which is great to see. Coaches and parents' attitudes are starting to change as well towards it. And the more they see of players who are responsible, the professional grades, the more that influences behaviour. We don't have the fortune of cameras and lots of spectators and the sort of high-profile nature at the top flight. So we still rely on young players and the senior players here reporting incidents because it may not necessarily be picked up. But nonetheless, they're far more likely to come forwards and report symptoms, which is the key thing from my point of view.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So, Lonnie, with the Colts, you must have a decent amount of fairly heavy... I mean, we all have in the coaching age groups that we coach with, quite a few. But as bodies get bigger, as the boys get stronger...
I don't think we've seen an abnormally high amount of concussions in the Colts. I mean, we've had one or two in the last couple of years, I think, in around that under 16s, under 18s age group. But, I mean, it is high impact, but I don't think we've seen a lot. I think we've been quite fortunate.
The challenge with incidence levels is that what we've seen is the perceptions of incidence rates have gone up. But that doesn't necessarily mean to say that the incidence has, it's the reporting rates.
It's awareness, isn't it?
And we're starting, therefore, to see those things plateau a little bit. They're certainly plateaued at professional grades, and we're starting to see a better understanding now that we've got reporting intentions increased. So the numbers that you cite are probably about right. Now, you do get times when you just get one or two, flux together. But, when I first started, the incidence rates that were reported within youth rugby would be between sort of 0.2 and 6 per 1,000 hours. I had a paper that was published 2017 that had an incidence rate of 12.7, and that was through 4-year data collection here at Cobham. So that was 2013 to 17. Has things changed dramatically in that time? Well, if you look at ASA, which is the top flight of the school sort of program, you're looking at about 22 per 1,000 hours. But that's match play mainly in terms of the data.
Yeah. Dave, just how do you decide what the level is? Say, well, that's a knock, but that's okay, or that's a bad one. He needs to come off. How do you?
Yeah, well, I mean, the gum shields don't influence that. It's still based on the principles that are set up by the RFU, which is symptoms. Essentially, it's either reported or observed symptoms. So me and the medics here, like the first aiders do, they will make a judgment. A head injury has occurred. We're on the pitch. We are asking them the right questions, medics questions, and then have we observed any symptoms? But bottom line, you have to still make a clinical decision. And we don't have objective measures yet. That would be the absolute ideal and make everyone's life so much easier. Mm-hmm. So it's still based on subjective reporting information, which makes it difficult. And it's what the future is. It's the present. There's still huge amounts of research going on to try and find that sort of magic answer. And hopefully in the next 4 or 5 years that we'll have a really clear objective measure that will then make the whole thing so much easier.
What's that going to be? Do you think?
What's it going to be?
What might it be?
Well, at the moment you've got Birmingham University. There's also in the States a lot of research going on with saliva testing. Now, saliva testing, we now have an mRNA biomarker that goes into the saliva if you've had DAI, diffuse axonal injury. So if you've got injury to your axons, we seem to get a marker. Now, sensitivity and specificity of that still not been really nailed down. Now, is that a really practical tool? Well, no, because it's still got a cost expense to it. But it may be that then could be associated with a more cost-effective and practical tool that we can use pitch side. So even if you've got something that is complex, we can then do studies which then define something that's more simple that then associates with it. So that's one of the options. There's studies going on at the moment using MRI scans. Now, again, they're not particularly practical, but if we've got a good understanding, and then we can link it to a more simple basic tool. There's oculomotor and saccadic function tests, so looking at eye function. Again, nothing that's really practical pitch side. I use the King-Devick test, which is a basic test of reading numbers, and we started that ages ago, and that's got a decent level of specificity and sensitivity. But again, these things haven't filtered through to the mainstream just yet. So, the ideal would be you've got something on your phone, you'd wave it over a kid's head and, we get numbers back. Well, it's not as simple as that. It's far more complicated.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, I was at a game this afternoon, female Superbucks, Cardiff playing Brunel, and the Cardiff girls are wearing those mouth guards, and just for collecting data, not for taking any action. And I think one of the girls, actually an ex-Cobham girl who's playing for them, has MRIs regularly as part of this study, so they're just trying to accrue loads of data. Great. So there are all these things happening all over the place. It's fabulous.
I was going to ask, it won't surprise any of our listeners, I was going to ask something about girls rugby. I heard a rumour a couple of years ago that there is greater instances of whiplash concussion in girls rugby because of physiology in the neck muscles or something like that.
Well, I mean, if you get your head hit, invariably it involves your neck because you're moving the head at force. So neck-related, head injuries, you can have a concussion without a blow to the head, and you could have it in the sternum and your head moves with acceleration. One of the working theories is that neck strength is a predictive factor for head injury risk. And what we do understand is that if you increase neck strength, you do see a reduction in incidence. Now, to what extent, it's that is still to be debated. But it's probably our most practical risk reduction tool there is strengthening your neck. Under the auspices that if you've got a stiffer neck, you've got less acceleration around your head. Therefore, girls, generally speaking, have less muscle mass around their necks. And that may be a predictive factor in terms of their risk that's associated. Whether there are other factors in terms of, matter, brain matter changes, hormone changes, it's debatable. But neck strength is definitely a factor that is being researched heavily. We don't have validated neck strengthening protocols yet. Most clubs, you won't find professional clubs that are not putting them in place. Why? Because concussion is, if there's any tool that's got a risk reduction factor to it, we're going to use it. And I would encourage, and the Activate program has this, neck neuromuscular activation drills before training. We use them with the seniors before every instance of contact. Why? Because we want to switch on those muscles to reduce the likelihood of impact.
Great idea.
That's great. I'll definitely pick it up. Yeah.
Now we've been joined by Billy, our director of rugby, and I'd like to get Billy's take on of the teams that we can see and that we play. It feels like we're quite lucky at Cobham because we've got people like David Silver who every time you meet you learn something.
Indeed,
it's very rare in the rugby world. How does our setup, Billy, compare to the teams that we play every week?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel every time I'm here and I'm reviewing or reflecting on what we do here, I'm feeling lucky, not just to have Dr. David, but to have Chris Melton and Marcus Watson and and the list goes on and on. I mean, we could spend 10 minutes listing all the amazing people here. I would trade carefully by saying, our team is necessarily, in my experience, stronger than others because you don't really know that. I'm satisfied that our team is gold because I know them inside out. I couldn't make a judgment on somebody else's quality of physio or quality of management, etc. My sense is that we sit at the top of things, but that's only because I know these guys and not because I could make a judgment on anyone else.
One thing I'd add to that from a medic's perspective is that, you know, I go around the leagues, I know a lot of the medics that I work with, and it can be very difficult if you're new to an environment or you're working with someone where there is the potential for pressure to be applied, whether it's obvious or otherwise. And the one thing that I'm very, very pleased is it understates it, is that the relationship that I've had with Billy and all the coaches that are working here, I've never been felt undue pressure to play a player, you know, important game, all the rest of it. And that's so important. And especially some of the young medics that we see pitch side, and Billy would have seen this as well, sometimes you get the sense that they are put in very difficult positions, especially with players as well. And the players have to buy into that as well and respect it, because you're in a challenging situation. I've had players who have had concussion and have the emotional changes that are associated with it, and they're very, very, you know, upset about potentially coming off. So it makes it really difficult for a young medic to come into this environment where they're not necessarily supported. So if you haven't got a team around you who completely back you to the hilt, and a director of rugby who says, it's your call, you know, this is how we go with it, you know, it's a really difficult space.
Yeah, I would just say, Billy, that you're maybe trying not to compare with other clubs, but all I can say is in the youth and the girls section, where we have a continuity of David's staff and David himself, and all of the protocols and all of your involvement in our first aid training with that group, David, is greatly received. And many a Sunday afternoon, we're having a club medic out who's taken control of things, made decisions, you know, has been absolutely priceless. So, yeah, big thanks for that.
Fundamentally, you know, all sports have risk attached to them, and if we can mitigate those risks as best we possibly can, and that's largely through ensuring that if anyone's got an injury, they are taken out of play and they're given the right opportunities to recover and supported, then we've done what we can in terms of the rugby sort of space. And more importantly, if I was a parent, I would want to, you know, I would feel comforted to know that the best interests of my child, through every coach, every other player and the medical staff, is 100% behind that. And, you know, that's why it's a privilege to be in this environment where with all of you guys, because I know that if I make a decision that it's going to be followed through, and more importantly, you're going to report into me any concerns that you might have so we can make clinical judgments.
Awesome. How good.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, my God. Brilliant. You love to hear it. Now, Billy, here we go. So we had a game against Cornish at the weekend. Another strong performance. How the boys doing? How we feeling? It was a really nice afternoon, and nice probably not the right word, but it was an encouraging afternoon because we haven't slipped, but we haven't quite hit some of the standards that we hit in the early part of the year. Now, part of that is our opposition nudging forward, making the most of twice a week, you know, making the most of some good recruitment and bits and pieces. That said, we still haven't dropped a game, and to go into the Cornish game was a step forward, or a return step to where we were, because Cornish played very, very well. They had a defensive performance that was filled with, you know, grit and energy, and they just kept coming, and we couldn't quite get into the space that we normally do early in the game, and actually that set the tone for a fantastic afternoon. And our game, the team, got better as the game went on. So we had a stronger second half, where in the past we might have had a strong first half and just plateaued a little bit. So it was great to be tested. I was very, very proud of the team, I've got to say. And I used the term after the game, which was, you know, warriors. And there was some real warriors in that game. And I want to oversell a level 7 rivalry that we have, a fantastic rivalry with Cornish. But we were in a game where we had lots of challenge from the opposition. And, you know, we had a hooker that we lost in half an hour, and a prop that had a tight hamstring, and a centre that got a knock
in the kidneys, and we had a little spell of 10 or 15 or 20 minutes where it was like, well, there's no one left. There's only 14 on the pitch, and we'll get on with it. And in that environment, without banging the drum, you get these really good players, you really warrior players that just step up and say, okay, we need to make this tackle, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, or put a bit of tape on it and we'll crack on. And so in that environment, I was really, really pleased and proud.
You had a debut?
Yes, and what a debut it was, young Joe Patient. He was one that almost made the starting team because I've got a lot of faith in him. And I didn't want him to start the game as early as he did because we didn't want Murph to...
Was that 20 minutes in?
Yeah, 20 minutes or 25 minutes, something like that. But I can't remember seeing a debut that was so assured straight off the first bat. Every single carry was memorable. Every single dart that he threw was on point.
Yeah. And his prop, Ben Joyce, was someone who coached him when he was an under 5.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can't write that stuff.
Those stories. I mean, we sit around this table every now and again, don't we, and share stories like that. But and you can't. We must never, as a group, as a club, never get used to those.
No.
Because before you know it, there won't be another story like that for a little while. But the Joyce family just keep providing us with
good
stories. Dad and son and other son and the two brothers and before you know it there'll be a cousin and then it was some kid that he taught when they were 5 years old and it's magic.
When I pulled up to come up here to set up for the recording, saw you on the side of the pitch this week, Billy. Last week I saw you in the middle of the pitch and I could see you were, they were talking quite, some strong words to the lads. It was interesting. Thursday night, I was stuck in Waterloo, like probably quite a few people were, waiting for trains to get out. I happened to meet one of your props. I'm not going to mention names. But there's one section of the session where you were like, right, what we're going to do now is you're on the floor, you're up, you're sprinting to there, you are back, you are down. And he was like, Billy, I'm not sure I can. You are. You are doing it.
It was a punchy week, wasn't it?
You can work out who it was. We'll work it out. But that's I'm interested to hear you say that you've got to set the bar. So it sounds like Saturday was good. So how do you push on now? How do you get to the next?
Yeah, well, the conversation around this weekend will be really about that resetting of that marker, that reminder of the foundation that we have, and then not coming back, stepping up from that. And every go on.
I was just going to say that what's interesting about it may seem like we've had a hard training session because we're not performing that well. We've dipped a little bit, so we go and beast everyone. And the one thing, it was driven completely by the players. It was completely driven by the senior players group. And what's so great about being around this particular group of lads at the moment is there seems to be such a potential for growth. And we're learning so much, not just on the rugby field. And I think that's what community rugby is so powerful for, is they're learning about each other. They're learning about overcoming difficulties, problem solving. And what Billy's so great at about a director of rugby is sometimes it's a real skill to be able to step back. Our temptation is to overcoach and overguide, and sometimes they've got to figure out their own, how they get around this problem. And we put together a little senior players group and said, look, why do you think we've just come off that 5-10%? And they worked that out. They turned up with the intensity. We set the group, and that's what's so great to see, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. It was a really easy sell.
Yeah, no,
I sent a couple of messages during the day, and there's some funny memes with DiCaprio with his eyes open like that and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll step. Nah, it just needed a little refresh. And David's right. We're 1 minute into it, and off we go.
That was the end message I actually got. Was we were having a beer in Waterloo, and he was like, it was so good though.
Billy, I'm going to ask you about another debut because you had one of our Colts play at 10 a couple of weeks ago, didn't you? Since we've been on the pod, Jack.
Yeah, young Jack Firebrace. He's he's a prodigious talent. He's a very, very talented young man. He, he's chasing an opportunity in the States, which is, I don't exactly know, what the odds are, and I think it's pretty long, but he's in the system, and you've got to. If you're not in the system, if you're not being looked at, then you've got no chance. And he's got a chance. And for him and his dad to come through and say, actually, the advice that we have is, I want to play some 15s.
Yeah.
Not quite as much 7s. And it isn't quite panning out as we would like in terms of number of games, but to give him the opportunity to start at 10 as a teenager in a league game was fantastic.
A couple of try-saving tackles I read from the
match report.
Match report.
Yeah, and that's the he kicks, for those of the people that know him, he kicks like an absolute dream when he's
like
on.
a mule.
And it's just I'll put it there and I'll put it there, and he's very impressive in that regard. But to be in that space where that was the game where we were 31-7 up, and we started to have a little wobble, and he made some try-saving tackles. So
Eastbourne at home. So
It was, yeah.
Well, we play with him at touch, so obviously that's where he obviously learned.
This is where he learned what to do and what not to do.
He basically, that was it.
Coached him
Wednesday
for 11
night
years.
with the vets. Yeah,
Not about
That's
kicking.
Lunny's underarm throw, and you with the base. There you go, boom.
It's funny you rewind. That's again, Billy. That's another one of these stories, because I
Correct.
remember Jack and his dad
I
Charlie
remember
coming to
that.
touch
Yeah,
rugby on the summer. The sun wasn't setting; it was right in the middle of summer, and then he came back the next year, and he'd grown about 4 foot, and suddenly was kicking the ball a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's had a game for the
cracking
Colts
player.
this season. He played against Wallingham. Regations, I think it was, in one of our opening Tier 1 games, and he was great. I mean, his kicking game wasn't that brilliant that day, but his defence is fantastic in that channel. And I think we've got him for the quarter-final against Farnham on the 15th. He seems to have been available for that one as well. It's all difficult with these guys, right? Because they're playing 7s in the Ace League, and they're playing all sorts of other things. But
It's super difficult, and I admire what him and Charlie are trying to do in terms of manage his time, because he impressed for us, and we have an absolute gun 10 in Connor. But if Connor wasn't around, and he would be a choice. And then before you know it, he's wanted to by us to play first team. He's wanted by the Colts to play 18s. He's wanted by Gordon's to play 7s, or not to play at all because of Roslyn Parker's coming
That's right.
up. I spoke to his coach on Monday, and he's like, well, Roslyn Park's coming up. I'm like,
Well, wait a minute. I've got to stop everyone here, right? In the vets, you can play alongside your son. So, Charlie, why aren't you playing
Your
on
boots out
Friday?
again.
I think he'd be asked to leave the pitch within
Why
about
are
3
you not
minutes.
playing? Vets are away to Guildford, Charlie and Jack. You're welcome down. You've got to start.
Nice
on the,
try, Alex.
You've got to start on the wing, but that's the way it goes.
Can I say, from a medical point of view, I'd much prefer that didn't happen.
Billy, what about the twos this weekend?
well, that was I'm not sure how much people not believe me, but if I'm away with the first team, the highlight, however we've done, the highlight of the Saturday is getting the message to say the twos have won.
Yeah.
And not just one, but won a good game. Like one of those close afternoons where you've got to be on it. And yes, thank you.
Did you play, Mick?
Well,
I still feel like I played. I feel like I played yesterday.
There's a photo on the social media pages of Mick just about to hit the deck with a ball in one hand.
All right.
And on our little
Standing too
closed,
deep again.
in our little closed WhatsApp group, I was like, so is this A, offload round the back, B, knocks it on, or C, tries to knock it on. No, tries to knock it out of the back and knocks it on. Apparently, he's going to be too shy to say this, it was a lovely little offload off the floor.
It was round the back.
And the
Yeah,
nine,
round the back.
the 9 in
Scored
to
from it.
score.
Oh, unbelievable.
And credit to you and Mr. Mark Duncan for lacing up the younger boots. And,
no, we're just two old guys in amongst a squad of brilliant.
They're great.
Yeah, it
lads.
makes that
Brilliant
understanding this,
people.
because all of the reports I got is that and this often happens with the second team, is that if you've got lots of talent, you've got lots of young players, you've got lots of energy, but like any team needs some halfbacks, needs some guys in the middle.
Yeah.
You did a great job. That's the report.
Did you play 10?
In terms of
Play 10. For those that have seen me in action, not a 10. Not a 10. I tell you what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the learning experience, I must say.
The twos, they're atop of their league.
yeah,
at the moment.
the Cobham second team are currently top of their league, and that's a lovely graphic to drop around all the WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
There's lots of pride associated with that. And listen, Gabe is doing a great job. He's come into the team relatively late as a captain. He's done a brilliant job as captain. Scored a hat trick at the weekend. I mean, that's.
I saw two of them.
That's quite
Big runs. Yeah, he's hard to stop, right?
He is a
Big boy.
great
He's a
runner.
very, very
Great
strong
runner.
young man.
I've got a wee voice note, in fact, from both captains. Want to hear it?
Oh, go on then.
Hear it?
I captained the Cobham twos today against Old Wimbledonians at home. It was a fantastic match, a lot of competitiveness, a lot of aggression, a couple bits of scraps and some unfortunate words, but fantastic forward play from us, and very proud of the lads for a huge effort today.
So hi, I'm Tom Bordessa, captain of the Old Wimbledonians Rams. I'd like to second, sort of what Gabriel's been saying. The two games we've had so far this season have been absolutely crackers. Both, we're 1-1 now after 2 games, and they've both been really close and really physical fixtures. And good luck for the rest of the season to come.
Yeah, you too, mate.
Thanks, boys.
Lovely.
Short and sharp, that one.
Yeah, great.
They weren't talkers.
So,
Wanted to drink.
our resident Pete, absolutely on the leagues. What's that do to the leagues? Where are we at the moment for the ones and twos?
Well, the ones 15 from 15, 4 points in front of Vandals. Big game against them on the 18th. They're all big games.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone raises their game a bit. Everyone would like to be the first team to turn us over. So
Yeah,
have we got-
that's natural.
yeah,
Vandals again.
Yeah.
Vandals away.
Vandals away on
Vandals away.
the 18th.
What date's that?
18th of
March.
April.
April. It's the last game.
Okay.
No,
last game.
Second to last.
Second to last.
Their
Decide.
last game.
So mark your calendars
You can
because we
imagine-
need some sport down there.
imagine
Well,
the
you know,
environment
you-
over there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, hostile.
Ruts on Saturday, and then Cats is the last game,
Yeah.
25th of April.
We go Rutlitions, Hove, Trinity, Vandals, Cats.
Well, Hove were quite a test here, weren't they, Billy?
Yeah, of my patience. No.
That's a story over a beer. That sounds like I can tell with it.
That's not for now.
We can't beat these things out.
They started the season ambitious to be one of the top teams, and they remain a significant challenge. It hasn't panned out the way that they hoped. It's hard to tell. The position that we're in means that, and Pete's right, that everyone is bringing their game, and so I'm not underplaying where we might end up at the end of it. We obviously want to strive and do everything we can to be champions, but Vandals are in the driving seat. No question. They sit second, so people have got their eye off this. They're not unbeaten, etc. But their results, if you look at the new year, I mean, we were the best team going into Christmas, no question. But if the season was measured from January the 1st to now, it's Vandals. Their record is way stronger than ours.
Well, they have a walkover in that.
Yes,
So
that in itself is extraordinary.
Hey?
That's KCS.
KCS gave them a
KCS
walkover.
didn't turn up.
And KCS turned up big time for us.
They
They
did,
did.
didn't they?
They gave
Yeah,
us-
they were great.
They had 2 giant centres and 3 Orcs playing in the back row, and it was quite challenging.
Yeah, one of their centres, KCS, it was sensational. There was basically this big battle going on in the midfield that just was, you couldn't take your eye off. You were like, here it comes again. Bang. It was great.
Yeah, well, I'd expect this Saturday to be similar. The Ruts captain is very, very good centre. Very good indeed. One to keep on an eye on.
So, last word, though. The twos, I think, are flying.
Top of the league.
Top of the league.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good, it's good stuff. And the twos are out again away
Teddington, yeah.
So worth getting your name down. I know it's good for playing for the twos. For anyone.
Shout out to this kind of senior club of the Vets, because the Vets are playing Friday and we've got Teddington, the twos, on Saturday with the first. And although there are one or two with strong playing resources, there's not very many clubs putting out 3 teams in a weekend. It's rare these days.
No, there's a post on the Colts chat my son would have played, but he's realised it's a Saturday and he's working, so he can't. But he would have put his net. But he's trying to round up 3 or 4 of the other sort of under 18s that would make a good stance in the twos, I think.
Are you doing the double, Mick?
This weekend?
Friday, Saturday?
I am not. No. Saturday's a rarity.
Mouthguard says no.
3 weekends.
Thank you.
No, thank you. No, I just can't wait to see. I'm same as you, Billy, on a Saturday, getting the results. I absolutely love it. Chaps, go on, Pete. Are you happy? Because I'm conscious of what I don't want to waste.
Yeah.
Waste the rest of the evening because you've got things to do and people to say. But thanks very much for coming on, boys, and I mean the run-in is going to be special.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all behind you.
It's going to be fierce.
We're all here to help.
If we can manage to keep our run for another 3 games running into Vandals, and it's their last game of the season, that would be a record level 7 crowd, I would say.
Oh yeah, I reckon. I'll be there.
It will be massive.
Very good.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Right,
Thank you both.
Thanks,
Have a good
fellas.
evening.
Okay, now on to the youth and minis. How about the wee under-12 Surrey Cup? We did, Lunny.
Oh yeah, second year running. It was brilliant. I did a little bit of reffing, just about 3 games. I think they had about 5 refs, all people you'll know from the pod.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant because, one, the sun was out for the first time in what seems about, it's about 3 months. And they had teams from Salisbury, Haywards Heath. They had
Salisbury?
Yeah, Salisbury came up. Yep, Haywards Heath, Twickenham. A few of the usual suspects. You had Guildfordians, bought a good team. It was excellent. I think there was about 8 or 10 teams.
9, according
Was
to
it-
Sneedy. He sent an email out.
Oh,
Congratulations,
okay. Yeah, all right. Well, it was excellent.
Yeah.
And Cobham put in 2 teams. They had the Raiders, who were wearing some nice face paint, and the Monaco team, the ones that had been selected. And I had the joy of reffing the opening game, which was the Raiders versus the Monaco team. So those who got selected and those that didn't. Oh, my God, it was close. It was close. At 4-3, the Monaco team just won.
Right.
Just won. But yeah, it was brilliant. It was really, really well organised. We were ahead of schedule, would you believe?
Don't believe it. Doesn't exist.
No, we were. I was waiting. He'll get called to do your reffing now. I was like, well, not for 10 minutes. No, we're ready now. I was like, okay. But just, it was dry. It was lovely. Some super teams, super coaches. Some of you listen to the pod, you might know Kevin Fisher. We've held dinners for him up here. He's good friends with some of the ex-players here. He was coaching the London Irish outfit.
Nice.
So I went to say hello to him, so that was nice. The thing for me was, I'm not sure who won the overall event because I didn't hang around for the semi-finals. But the style of sevens play that the 2 Cobham teams were playing was obvious, and they had been trained very, very well to play, coast to coast, pull it back, let's not get taken out of touch, let's not go into contact. And it was delightful. I mean, they played some fantastic rugby. And then you had some visiting teams with, under 12 boys that look like they're 15 and their wife and kids on the sideline. You always get these. You always get these. No, they're not. They're just.
Reigate.
No. I mean, there was a lad from Salisbury and a lad from Twickenham that were as tall as me, and it was like, wow, And if they got the ball, it would be really hard to bring down, right? Just because of the physical combat. But the style of sevens play, Guildfordians played some lovely sevens. Salisbury did as well, but the 2 Cobham teams looked the best. I don't know if they won every game, but it was a brilliant event, really well run. Barbecue hut was on. Big hooter in between games just to make just to remind you that there's something loud around.
Yeah,
it was a DJ, I think it was music being played in between games. It was a really nice feel. So well done for Tristan and that under 12 group for putting that together. Yeah.
Podfather.
The Podfather.
Well, I think he stepped in to take the glory. I think is what he said. I think Tristan had done all the legwork.
I
I wouldn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's what he said. No, it was excellent day. Excellent day.
Club was buzzing, wasn't it? Really good.
Yeah, really nice. And as I say, when I wasn't reffing, I could watch the twos game that we just talked about.
And the minis were at Guildfordians last weekend. For our listeners that remember, minis festivals where unfortunately there's a bit too many gaps.
Yeah.
Then this may be one of those. But it's great to see big minis festivals still happening.
Yes.
With loads of kids still coming along. We know across Surrey that the numbers per age group isn't in its 70s, 80s, 90s, like it is in some age groups, or was in some age groups. But it's still great to see so many teams out. And that drive to get competitive rugby and to really get things going. So well done to all the minis coaches, minis youth players, and all the organisation for getting the girls and boys down to those games.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. How about the under 16 girls? Should we start with them?
Yeah, I mean, so I thought it might be worthwhile. So you will all know that over the last couple of weeks, since January, the cup competitions have started for youth teams. So we can have a little bit of a look in some of the teams and where they sit. So the under 16 girls that start there, bit of a slow start to the season, but they have been undefeated since Christmas in the cup run.
Wow!
Well so
impressive.
That's good work. They've got a tough away game, I think, against Dorking, this Sunday. So away at Dorking.
I love going to Dorking. You know that?
Oh, I love Dorking.
I love going to Dorking.
Yeah, I know. It's nice down there.
club.
Apart from the wind. It's always windy.
Just don't have curry the night before me.
A win for the under 16 girls will see them finish top of the group.
Wow!
And what does that mean?
So it determines the semi-final spots within that competition.
Is that one that has the final at the Stoop? That age group? No. Oh, okay, that's a shame.
No. So if you think seven,
Next year.
you think Seven's environment, it's like cup play.
Ah, okay, got
It's
you.
proper waterfall cup under 16 girls now. So that's good. And they're looking forward. We've got our tour coming up as well.
we have
So
to?
that's all good.
We have to.
We're going to
Cape Town.
Swanage. We have,
Swanage, okay.
Swanage, Cape Town, same thing.
so for the girls tour, what we
Swanage
do,
is lovely, by the way.
we try to get all of the girls in one place. We
Mm.
don't do it by age group. And we booked the whole of the Swanage Youth Hostel, plus the local hotel next door, because we've got too many. We're at 100.
Nice.
We're at 111 people so far.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Unreal.
We've got.
Have you got some under 18s in there then, yeah?
Sadly, no under 18s.
Oh, it's hard.
honey.
It's hard.
So it's all under 12s, under 14s, under 16s.
That's good, though.
Lots of beach sports and kayaking and giant paddleboard competition in the sea. That's all.
So good.
Oh,
Brilliant.
good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good
Brilliant.
luck with that.
I'm guessing you're doing that in the summer months and not December.
I don't care.
Okay.
Parents aren't doing it.
And what about the under 14s, Ali? Because I know they had their first girls' game at Staines, which is the first time I've seen that name.
Yeah, so under 14 girls. So it's just my my environment very much.
You might want to reword that, Alex.
Yeah, that's not the best wording. I didn't appear in the.
That's
files.
who you coach, Alex, is what you
I
should
didn't
say.
appear in the files. We just finished. Well, we're almost finishing our pool games. The last one was against a Staines Guildfordians cluster.
Yeah.
And we played at Staines, and we played on the Staines Ones pitch last weekend. First ever girls rugby match at Staines on Sunday.
I can't believe that. I just find that so hard to believe. But there we go.
It's quite amazing. But it's really good to be there. Really great environment and a good win for our Cobham team. So that's all good. Moving into the end of the season, we are in Tier 2. If we win our final pool game, we will come second.
Mm-hmm.
If we lose it, we might come fourth out of 5.
Yeah.
This is crucial time. We could be at the top or the bottom. Game against Wimbledon away on the 15th.
Always hard.
We'll see.
Big girls club Wimbledon, very big.
Yeah. So it's going to be good fun.
Nice. Can I read a wee thing for the under-16 boys? Because this is fantastic. Right?
Yeah.
So, this cup run for the mighty under-16s has been a fantastic set of matches against great opposition. We've played some new teams and played some old rivals. We currently sit top of the group, having won all the matches in the Queen's Cup comp. It's just left for us to get ready for the Stoop Cup final against Dorking or Hammersmith, and I think we'll probably find that out next weekend. So I want to put a mention out to a few of the lads that have really brought their game on so much this season. I have to start with a new signing this year, Ewan, a super fast lad who has scored 11 tries so far. That's a lot of jugs when you get a bit older, Ewan. Sorry.
Start saving now, son.
Alex Houston, who has been almost faultless with his conversions and, of course, captaining the ship, is never an easy task. He's done a fantastic job. Ollie Shivers, again, a new signing this year, has been a talisman for the forwards, and a special mention to Charlie, who scored his first try this season after being with us for 5 years. Well done, Charlie. Everyone deserved a mention, but sadly, it's not always about us. It says brilliant. Is that from Big James Williamson, Coach James?
Thanks,
Coach
halfway
James.
through editing it, as you might have noticed from the name.
Wonderful, because that's been an under six. They've been a tour de force this year, haven't they? They've just exploded. So well done.
They
have.
Well done.
They're having good fun. That's what you want.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've had Spratty for a bit as a coach, and then Alex Summers for the last couple of years, and they've grown, and they've managed to get some bigger numbers in, and they've found themselves in the right level of the Surrey Cup, and they've really enjoyed it. They've won quite a lot of games this season, whereas I think the last couple of years they've been on the receiving end of some big defeats and stuff. So it's great to see them turn it around. I love hearing someone who's played for 5 years and then scored a try. That's fantastic.
Reminds me
really good.
Reminds me much of myself.
Really good. Alex is pointing at himself as well.
I did. I scored for the twos earlier on the season. That was the first time.
Full pitch, I heard. Full pitch dash. How about this? The new bit of news. Go on, Pete's pointing at me.
It's just the under-23.
That's exactly.
Team. This is fantastic, is it not?
Unbelievable.
Absolutely amazing. Lunny, what do you think?
Yes. So I did take a Cobham under-23s team away to Farnham at Christmas. And we managed to get 8 ex-Cobham girls back to play. And they turned up, and we made up a bit of a Barbarians team on the day. But there is an under-23s festival at Christmas and at Easter, which is aimed to attract the girls that have played at clubs and gone away to university and come back and connect with their clubs again. So there's about 5 clubs at that one. And I don't know how many are going to come to the Easter Sunday one, but it's at O'Regations on Easter Sunday. And we had our first training session on this Sunday, and we had 4 girls turn up, 4 women, turn up, which is great. But I think a lot of them are still away at university, which is sort of flaw in our plan here. But we've had about 20 odd girls on a chat that I think will be good, and we're going to bring some of our under 18s down there. So yeah, that's the plan. We're going to try and launch a women's team.
Right. So not going to try. We have.
Oh, we have. That's right.
So yeah, let's just rolling that back.
Oh, is that what that sign meant?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder what you were doing with the
know what he was doing.
I
thought it was disco dancing.
It was big box, big fish, little fish, cardboard box.
We're so good on the pod and knowing what we're talking about with each other, and our listeners have no idea what we're saying.
Yeah.
Right, so Cobham, let's celebrate this, has launched a women's side. We have limited it to under 23s, just to get us off the ground, just to give us a focus, and to basically give us a target audience of people that have played at Cobham and might be at uni, might be somewhere else. Let's bring them back in. And we've got a target of a competition coming up. So, but it's not limited to people that have played at Cobham. No. If you know somebody who played under 18s, under 16s a few years ago, and I know there are some vets whose kids played,
Yeah, and they can bring friends, right? They don't have to have played at Cobham, so.
Yeah, so it is about the launch of the team, about getting a team together, and we will grow from that. If you want to look out, Grace has posted we've posted Grace's video out on social media, so check it out.
Yeah.
And just, really spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big thing. And you can be supportive of it, and I hope you are.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that the club management committee are fully behind this and have set aside funds for this season and next season to make things happen, and make sure that if we can get a women's team going and we can get training, we can get coaches. I mean, we've got Grace at the moment, which is great. We can get them fed, we can get kit. So we're trying to get equity. But yeah, we're just trying to get them off the ground. So if you know anyone who wants to play rugby, bring them along.
Perfect.
Fastest growing sport in the UK?
Yep.
Women's rugby, yeah.
Is it?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's what it says here.
Yep.
Wonderful. How about Pete? Over to you, because there's a couple of wee bits coming out around. So if you brought a printout, you're so organised, mate.
Notes are
Brilliant.
I've just, so there's a quiz night on the 20th of March, 7 o'clock start, £15 to include a hot supper and a glass of wine from our extensive wine list downstairs that Mick mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I've started to get a table together for that.
So come on, get a team together.
I've got three so far.
Perhaps we should put a podcast team in.
Oh,
that'd be good.
There's a good chance I'm abroad with work.
What date was that again?
Friday
20th of March.
20th. Colt stores the next day.
Oh, there's...
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well,
if anyone can beat Caretaker Simon, that's something else.
Well, he's best mates with the Chasers, isn't it? It's not fair.
yeah.
What else, Alex? Go on. We've got a last pod. We did the refs gang. We've got a refs sign up because we run another course. Still, I've done coaching courses, scrubbing bits and bobs, but that's still the best course I've done.
And the
in
longest.
last few years.
I've been thinking a lot about this, and we've publicised it to vets on the idea that vets, you might not be coaching youth anymore, but we really need you back on the pitch. We need you to sign up and to get qualified as a ref, so you can help us out. And then I was looking at Mr. Pete Christie, and I was saying there might be others who have been a long time out that maybe want to get back in.
I can't. I would love to. I refereed for London for about 6 years. Had a great time.
I remember you coming down pre-season, right? This would have been about 96, 97?
Probably a bit before that.
Oh, just doing some law changes with the first team and the senior squad and refereeing all the sort of internal games. That was a long time. I mean, I joined in 96, so it would have been...
That would be my last season with London was
there we
96.
go.
Yeah.
For any kids listening,
but let's be
1996 was before the internet. So
Wasn't it just...
How rude.
But actually, right, to the seniors, the ones and the twos, this is a really, really good opportunity for you to get involved, in the youth, back involved with the youth for many of you, and to help out and to support on a Sunday. There aren't any seniors games on Sundays, so a good time to come down and just blow the whistle on the
totally
pitch.
agree. Actually, that's a really good point. I'm with you.
It's a great thing to do. It gives you a completely different perspective of the game, and actually what you find out is how difficult a job it can be.
Yeah.
Not so much juniors, I don't think, but once you get it to refereeing seniors, and particularly veteran sides, if I might just say so.
I'd agree.
No, I think even for youth sides, it's difficult because some of the coaches, but no, it's some of the players, they've got opinions, and it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
tell you, on Sunday, the under-18 girls had a game here, and it was a difficult game against a very good side from Cobham and Bracknell. But the referee that was appointed by the society, I went and spoke to him because I was going to run touch and just said, look, we had a girl who's got a tick. So I just wanted to warn him that if she came on and her hand started flapping, it wasn't, she was trying to hit people. She actually Tourette's and has a tick. So you just got to understand it. And he was like, great. And I was having a chat to him. And I said, well, I'll be doing this hopefully next season because, I won't be coaching and pick up the whistle. He goes, it's exactly what I did. His son had come all the way through the club where he was from. And he said to me, he said, I just couldn't imagine a Sunday not being around this sort of culture. And he just looked around a rugby club with loads of kids playing rugby. And I thought, yeah, I completely get that.
Yep.
It's really great place to be on a Sunday afternoon.
Agreed. Right, so we started the very start of the pod where we talked about regime change, and should we just do a wee bit on the Six Nations guys? Because before,
do you know what?
Before the
I
pod,
think,
we talked
I think
about
we're out of time.
It was the
I think
Calcutta.
we're out of time, mate.
I got to go.
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. Bye.
Sorry.
Oh.
Bye.
Can't be done.
Okay, goodbye.